What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Tyler Perry's Sistas. This is season 3, episode 5, and the episode is titled Being a Boy. Now, let's go ahead and break this episode down. So you guys already know that we're starting exactly where we left off, and that is with Andy saying that she does not want to be married. Well, not that she doesn't want to be married, but she doesn't want to get married at this moment. Now, we have Fatima, she's being such a supportive friend by explaining to Andy that, it's okay to call this wedding off, and that basically she should get married on her own terms and not his. So basically, girl, don't feel bad for this. Now you have Danny. Oh my gosh, her whole thing is that she is ready to go, but she still wants her $500. And Andy, what blows my mind is that she's like Gary, he did all this. He got you guys' dresses and he planned all this. And I'm just like, girl, first of all, yes, you thought that the idea of a surprise wedding would be so great. However, I'm just like, you're literally going to get married in some random room that's set up like a photo shoot, but it wasn't real. Your parents aren't here. The rest of your family aren't here. Like, come on, girl. I'm pretty sure you want more people there. But anyways, so Danny, she's like, listen, if he loves you, he will definitely understand why you're making the decision to not get married today. Now when it comes to, okay, now that she's made this decision, how is she going to tell him? So the girls are like, listen, we're going to go in there and then you're just going to go ahead and tell him that you're calling this wedding off. However, Andy feels like she wants to tell Gary alone. Now, here's the thing. I absolutely understand her wanting to tell him this privately, that she doesn't want to go through with this wedding at the moment. But I also understand where the girls are coming from, because Gary is crazy. And we all know that we cannot trust Gary, especially not alone with Andy. So, Danny and Fatima, they tend to agree with each other a lot. From the end of last episode to this one, I feel like I like the idea of Danny and Fatima possibly becoming closer friends, just because I feel like they think the same way on certain topics. And also, I would like to see someone be in Danny's corner, because let's be honest, these other three ladies, they are never in Danny's corner. If anything, whenever Danny is trying to give them sound advice, they tell her to shut up, be quiet, and go away. That's usually how it works. But one thing that I didn't like was when Danny was like, basically, you're cool, but I gotta watch you because of this whole Zach situation. And again, Fatima has to say, again, for the umpteenth time, I did not know that he was Karen's ex. I want them to let this go. Even though I understand that this has only happened maybe about 4 days ago, but I really want them to let it go. Alright, so, the ladies are actually going to go roll up on Gary, right? So they have a whole united front of attitude. You have Sabrina, Danny, as well as Fatima. I just find it very interesting, minus Fatima. I would say it's interesting to see Danny and Sabrina have all this attitude about just Gary in general. But I'm just like, y'all have all this attitude towards him and the type of person that he is, yet Andy saying that she's going to marry him, y'all kind of were like, oh, well, do what you want to do, girl. I wanted them to have that same energy and be like, Andy, you're an idiot. Why would you want to marry this man? He tried to beat your ass. Girl, why would you marry him when he got all your possessions taken and your money, okay? Why? Just why would you want to marry this man? But anyways, each lady has a whole little speech about how Gary is trash and how Andy deserves so much better. Because literally Sabrina went on a whole little rant about how Andy is this and Andy is that, and she's such a great woman and she makes her own decisions. And I'm just like, okay. So then next is like Fatima's turn. And then she tells him that, he's the one who did this. He's the one who messed everything up. And then there's a situation, there's a comment like, he messed up the foundation. And then here goes Danny. She's like, listen, if the foundation ain't good, it won't stand up, Gary. I'm just like, that is very true though. Because when you really think about the foundation that Gary and Andy are sitting on, I mean, baby, that shit's so rocky, and I don't see how anyone can stand on it. Because literally, first of all, you guys got into a relationship. We knew that he was married. This man had kids. He was out here lying to Andy, talking about he was going to leave his wife, and that was never in the plans. Like I keep saying, he got all her stuff taken from her. Her bank account's frozen. She just had a gun put to her head that night before. Like, let's not forget this. According to the Tyler Perry timeline, okay, Andy just had a gun put to her head the night before. Literally, considering this has to be like the evening time of the next day, it hasn't even been 24 hours. Has not been 24 hours yet. But you over here trying to get married. It doesn't make any sense. So Gary finally leaves to talk to Andy, and Aaron is sitting there looking stupid. So now the ladies want to know how they know each other. Like, how does Aaron even know Gary? Come to find out, Aaron is Gary's church pastor. He's like the leader of the men's group at church that Gary tends to attend. So I'm like, wait a second. All the times that Gary has mentioned that he has a counselor and all this stuff, is he talking about Aaron? Because if he is, he need a whole new counselor. I'm sorry, I just do not see it for Aaron in the capacity of him and Gary. Because, like I've said in another review, I feel like Aaron gives Gary way too many passes. He never calls him out on the things that he does. And he sits up here and be like, oh, dude, you're getting better. When really, he isn't. He's not getting better at all. So, we then get a scene of Gary and Andy. They have their conversation. And he was actually very understanding. And he was okay with her decision. I feel like he had a whole bunch of tricks up his sleeve. But that's not exactly what we got later in the episode. Now, do I think that Gary really, was okay with it? No. But I feel like he's going to put on a front, just to save face. And because he still wants to stay in Andy's good graces. But I definitely think that he felt some type of way that she did not want to drop everything and just get married. He also mentioned to Andy that he talked to his pastor, not his pastor, his counselor about, what if she said no and what that would mean. And he also mentioned how, Kara kind of gave him the business when she was walking out the door. Now, again, like I said, it is kind of weird that Aaron is the counselor when I feel like he needs counseling his damn self. Because let's not act like Aaron has not turned into some guy who he doesn't know how to handle his emotions. He just broke his sobriety. He's still thinking about Karen when really he shouldn't be giving her the time of day. Yeah, I don't know about Aaron. Like, I want to like his character, but then sometimes I'm like, I don't know about you. But let's just go ahead and jump on back over to the girls and Aaron. So he basically continues to talk about how, Gary, he's doing so well. So to change the subject, you have Sabrina, she asks him about Karen. And he basically is like, I really do like her, but she's stuck on Zach. I mean, he's not lying. Karen is literally stuck on Zach when Zach is not even trying to give her the time of day. So now that, he mentioned Zach, though, Sabrina wants to try to shut the conversation down, because Fatima is sitting right there, and Fatima has to reiterate again that she did not know that he was her ex, referring to Karen, and, she stopped dealing with him and asked him to leave. So now the ladies are like, wait, he was living with you? And she's like, yeah, sort of, something like that. here they come. Oh wow, because he's always looking for women to live off of and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, okay, but you don't even know what their agreement was, to what extent. Like, you guys have no idea. However, of course you're gonna make these judgments because that's just what you guys do. I mean, at one point even Aaron was like, yeah, I mean that does kind of sound like, it's messed up that he trying to be a freeloader. I Unfortunately, yes, I will say that Zach can definitely be considered a freeloader, but at the same time, like, I don't think he's intentionally doing it. I just feel like if a woman is willing to volunteer her money, her time, her all this stuff, he's going to take advantage of it. Like, he's going to, he's going to use it. Like, he's not the guy that's going to be like, oh no, babe, I got it. I'm going to try to figure something out of how I'm about to hustle. No. If you offer that man $100, he's probably going to take it. All right, so moving on from that, you have Andy and Gary. They come out and, she said that she told him no, but they will do this on her terms. I said, okay, great. So Gary ends up inviting everybody to dinner, right? And Danny, she has to go ahead and say it like, listen, we don't like you, so we're all not going. Because everybody was trying to come up with some type of excuse so that they would not have to go to dinner with them. All right, and let's go ahead and jump on over to Zach and Karen. So he shows up to the salon, and she's like, sit down or whatever. He's like, nah, stand up. So he's like, okay, what do you need to get off of your chest? So she tells him that she talked to Fatima and that, Fatima told me all the things that you said about me and all this stuff about our relationship. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but Karen, you are putting 20 on 10. Fatima basically said that every time he would mention his ex and start talking about her, she would kind of shut the conversation down. And yes, he always tried to bring up his ex, but at the same time, it's not in the way I feel like that you think it went down. Because honestly, in Karen's mind, she thinks that there is still this chance for her and Zach just because they had sex together. And that is so strange to me. So one thing that Karen brought up in this conversation, though, is how he never mentioned his ex's name and how, that really did hurt her. And I'm just like, why do we have Zach apologizing for hurting her and, hurting her feelings, all this stuff, when I thought we already did this? Didn't we already go through this apology before they hooked up together? Like, I thought that's what happened. Maybe I'm tripping. So Karen, she goes on about him coming into the shop and making love to her. Excuse me? Ma'am. Make what? That's not what y'all were doing. You guys were not making love. Stop playing with us. Y'all was straight effing. Straight up against the wall, literally. Up against the shampoo and towels. Like, ma'am, don't do that. So even Zach has to clarify, like, sweetheart, that is not what was going down like that. So Zach is basically trying to figure out why is he at her salon, right? So basically, you have Karen saying that she's trying to figure out, what her and Zach's next steps are going to be. That is pretty much what she's trying to figure out. Like, where does this leave her and him in this situation? But Zach has to, shut it down. It's like, listen, there is no more me and you. I am going after Fatima with all my heart. And after that, he left. Now, I will say in this moment, Karen, yeah, you had egg on your face. Because after that conversation that you had with Fatima, because you heard her say, yeah, he used to talk about his ex all the time, but I would always shut it down. You thought, oh, he always talking about me? That mean he still want me? No, that doesn't mean that. Also, you don't know the context of why he was talking about you. Because literally most of the times that Zach was bringing Karen up, it was because something good was happening between him and Fatima, and he would pretty much throw you under the bus and be like, yeah, because with my ex, she used to do this, and with my ex, she used to do that. Like, yes, Fatima would shut it down, but let's not act like what he was saying about Karen was good. He was basically saying how she used to always down him and belittle him. So let's just go ahead and move on, because this next scene, I don't even understand. So we see Maurice and the thief. Now they over here having some type of heart to heart about why he steals and all this stuff. And I'm like, Maurice, why aren't you calling the police? Hell, you could even call Calvin over there and be like, this is the man who took your checkbook. But no, you over here trying to play Iyanla Vanzant, and you don't have the qualifications. So next thing you know, basically, Q don't want to tell him nothing. So he lets him go. What was the point of this scene, Tyler? Like, literally, somebody please explain it to me. Explain to me why we had to watch this scene with Maurice and Q. And maybe I can understand. Show me what I'm missing. Alright, now let's just go ahead and move on, because Fatima gets a call from Zach that he is on the way. Alright, baby, she had a bonnet on her head. She snatched that off so fast. But I mean, I don't blame her, because baby, the scene with those two, we gonna get there. But we gotta talk about Gary and Andy, because they are back at her place. Now, he's laying in the bed talking about how tired he is. And next thing you know, baby girl comes out out of the bathroom, is this red lingerie. Looking great. I must say, KJ's body. My God. You better do it. Okay, so she basically tells him, that she's worth the wait, and then she wants to show him a new trick that she learned. Immediately, he shuts it down and wants to go to bed. Actually, he didn't even shut it down. He shut himself down. Like, he just was like, okay, I'm just too tired. I need to go to bed, Andy. Keep in mind, he perked up because he saw her in this red lingerie. So, Andy is hella confused, and then he starts to say that, you learned something new. You probably learned it from that guy you slept with, aka Paris. Y'all, are we all watching the same show? Because I feel like her sleeping with Paris was a while ago. Like, he has literally slept with Andy since then. I don't understand why this is a conversation right now. Also, the fact that he said that he can't get it out of his mind of her hooking up with some other guy. I'm pretty sure, if we follow the timeline of this show, he hooked up with her the night before. Like, I'm pretty sure that he slept with her the night before, because if y'all recall, Andy and Gary, they were super duper happy or whatever, and she was like, had his hand and dragged him to the bedroom or whatever. We know that they got it popping. The next thing you know, that is when Jasmine has shown up. So you slept with her the night before, but now you can't today? Get out my face, Gary. Get out of my face. So Andy is like, well, the trick that I learned is actually from a magazine that Karen told me about. And I'm just like, I don't even think you need to explain yourself, because at the end of the day, you sleeping with Paris, that was so long ago. Or at least in my mind, because it was so many episodes ago. But I feel like y'all weren't together. He over here talking about somehow he can't even get hard because of this. I said, sir, you have got to cut it out. Like, I'm sorry, Andy and Gary, they both aggravate me. But the one thing that really pissed me off about this thing was the fact that Andy kept apologizing, and then he started to apologize, but nothing was resolved. I'm like, this is stupid. So let me just go ahead and move on. Danny goes home. Preston is there. He's asleep with his bluegrass music playing in the background. And, he wakes up and he tells her that, he missed her and for her to come lay with him. So she has to give him the rundown about Gary and his surprise wedding. And Preston is like, oh, that sounds romantic. So once he realized that, Danny wasn't really feeling the whole surprise thing, he says that, when he gets married to her, she'll definitely know about it. Ooh, that right there, it took her by surprise. Next thing you know, she jumped up super fast and was like, ooh, I have to go take a shower. I've been wearing this all day. I need to go take a shower. She rushes into her bathroom to call Sabrina, right? I said, of all the people to call, girl, you was better off calling Fatima, your new bestie. But Sabrina, she says that, she's about to go to Karen's house to talk to her. Baby, we gonna get there because y'all already know I don't like Sabrina like that, but she really pissed me off in this next scene when we saw her. So Danny goes on to freak out about how she's already be married, and Sabrina's like, listen, he's not asking you at this moment to get married. Calm down. It doesn't have to, go into all these hysterics. Relax. So there goes that. Now we have Gary and Andy in bed. Again, one thing that bothers me is the fact that they are both laying in bed. They're not facing each other, which means that they're upset, right? But why does Andy have a face full of makeup? I'm sorry, but that red lipstick was so distracting to me, because if I was her, I would have went on ahead, took that lingerie off. I would have took all that makeup off and returned to bed in a moo-moo. Yep, surely would have returned to bed in a moo-moo since Gary want to act all funny. So, again, I think I may have mentioned this earlier. I might have got the scenes confused, but they went on to, apologize to each other. And he talks about how, he's so jealous and how he can't even get it up because he's thinking about her and somebody else. And I'm just like, Gary, go away from us with this. It's bad enough you've put her through all this stuff. Even though I can't even say that he puts her through a lot of stuff, because Andy volunteers herself as tribute every time Gary is with the fuck shit. So she takes it, and that's just that. All right, let's just go ahead and move on, because Zach, he go over to Fatima's house and he tells her that he wants her, but she stops him because of Karen, and he's like, there's no more Karen. We'll see, because y'all know how Tyler is. So he tells her about how he knows that she talked to Karen, and that Karen told him what Fatima said, and all this stuff. But next thing you know, Zach starts to joke about how, he loves her, but basically, he just wants something from Fatima. So Fatima basically gives him, she gives in, but it's under one condition. And that is that he does not make love to her, but that he fucks her. I said, take control of the situation, my girl. Now, y'all, I wasn't ready. Now, I will say, I would say the shower scene of them was still my fave, but this is up there because we have her taking control, pushing his head down so that he can give her head, again, like I said, taking control. Then they're smashing on the table. She's riding him in reverse cowgirl while her hand is on his neck. I said, listen, these two right here, the best sex scenes. Listen, if this show was an HBO show, y'all, picture it, y'all. An HBO show, we would have saw cheeks. That's all I'm going to say. We would have saw cheeks. We would have saw boobs. And I would have been here for it if this was an HBO show. But let's just go ahead and move on. Now, you guys, we actually could have ended the show right there, and I would have been good to go. But that's not what we did. So we actually saw Sabrina go to Karen's house, right? And y'all, guess what? I was hype about this. We got a timestamp. What time is it? It is 11:30 at night, okay? Which means that we have finally finished the day, pretty much, okay? Unless something is happening at 2 o'clock in the morning, we are finishing this episode for this. We're finishing the day within this episode. I'm so happy about it. I'm ready for another day to happen on the show. So Sabrina comes in. First of all, attitude already stank. And her whole reasoning for coming over was to see where Karen's head was, because she doesn't understand what happened today. She just doesn't understand why Karen could not support Andy, getting married to Gary. And it's like, girl, the same reason why you told Andy that you don't want her to marry him. Why are you acting stupid? Like, I don't understand Sabrina at all. So then at one point, she tells Sabrina tells Karen that, you know that you can't live her life for her. And it's like, yeah, she knows that, and she wasn't trying to do that. So here comes Sabrina asking Karen, well, are you jealous? And Karen looks like she was taken aback. Like, I know she didn't just ask me this. And she didn't even want to answer the question, because she's like, Sabrina, just leave. Go ahead, lock my doors up when you get out of here, because this is really stupid. And like she said, she wants her to be happy, but her problem is her being with Gary. Like, she has no problem with Andy dating around. She has no problem with Andy finding love and being happy. But the problem is Gary. Let's not forget that. And please, no. Karen literally listed all the damn reasons why. So I'm like, Sabrina, you so busy up in what Karen got going on, you need to be worried about your own life and your own drama. And how you literally sent Jacoby home from work unnecessarily. And then you were being an asshole to Calvin and to Maurice, because Maurice told you that he sent the email and you completely blew it off. So go worry about yourself, sweetheart. So when she's finally about to leave, she basically tells Karen, like, you need to call Andy. And it's like, what does she need to call her for? Nothing. So when Sabrina she opens up the door, Aaron is there, right? I said, oh God, this man just be popping up at this girl house. So Sabrina finally leaves. He comes in and he's like, I came to check on you, whatever. And they have like this really awkward conversation. Now, out of nowhere, I kind of zoned out until he said, I came over here to make love to you. I said, excuse me, what? And next thing you know, that was the end of the episode. I said, oh my Lord, what is happening with the pastor? You guys, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.